I'm Mary Ellen Geist with Detroit Public Television's Great Lakes Bureau, greatlatesnow.org. We are at the Great Lakes Economic Forum. We're at Detroit's Cobo Hall, and we're honored to be with Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor of Ohio. You are the keynote speaker tonight, and I know that you've been involved in many economic initiatives, and you're actually heading up a task force that has to do with the future and generating more business and bettering the economy for the Great Lakes. Tell us what you're up to.
So I am chairing an economic task force for the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Governors and Premiers Association. I have to say it slow to get it out correctly because we've changed the name. So we have representatives from all the states in the Great Lakes region and the 2 provinces in Canada. And we are talking about the economic opportunities for the entire Great Lakes region. We're exploring where our strengths are and where our opportunities are. Ultimately, we're going to produce a report that we're going to issue to the governors and premiers when they meet in October here in Detroit and Windsor. And we're going to present the report, not only summarizing our work, but also making some recommendations about how we might strengthen our opportunities from an economic perspective in the Great Lakes region.
What do you wish people knew about the strength of the economy and the workforce and jobs in this area?
So if we were a country, we would be 3rd in the world as far as size, because the Great Lakes region is significant and huge. To Ohio alone, it's about a $10 billion impact. It's a great source for us, Lake Erie, in the western basin of Lake Erie. It's a great source of drinking water. It's a great place to boat and fish and enjoy the beaches. So we have a stewardship or responsibility to protect the natural resource, to also provide clean drinking water to citizens. And maybe that's the most natural way to talk about how it impacts people individually. But it's also a huge economic driver and huge economic opportunity.
And what are some of the problems today? A lot of people were talking about some recent statements by President Trump. I know you're a Republican. Do you support some of the things he's saying about trade and some of the things he said about Canada, as well as like soft lumber, things like that? And I also want to talk with you about the budget cut proposals to GLRI. So let's start with some of the trade things, some of the things he mentioned that people were talking about today.
Right. So, of course, obviously what happens in Washington impacts the work that we're doing as individual states or as groups as we think about the Great Lakes region. I'm going to let them have the national discussion and national debate over trade and let them draw their conclusions about where they want to be on that. We need to continue to work to focus on the issues of regulatory reform, as we just heard. What music to my ears. I lead regulatory reform in Ohio, and I really want to look for and explore those opportunities where a state like Ohio could cooperate with Canada and make it easier to get goods and people across the border from Ohio to Canada. But I think it's also a regional opportunity, and that's also part of the economic task force that I'm chairing, is having a conversation around how do we move goods and people more freely or with less hassle across the border. Ultimately, we're going to reduce the cost of the products that are being made, which is going to be, in many cases, retail consumers at the end are the ones paying the price. So I'll let them have the national discussion, but I want to stay on the ground and keep doing the work that I know is important to strengthen not only the state of Ohio, the Great Lakes region, but also the United States and Canada.
When people think of Ohio, they often think about Lake Erie and how the rivers caught fire long ago. Things have improved so much. People are talking about the impact of the GLRI, possibly even on image, and the Clean Water Act, things like that. They will definitely be impacted if the $300 million goes to zero that's being proposed with GLRI funding from the Trump administration. We're just getting word, actually, and you may not know this yet, it just came out that some groups are suing the EPA to take care of Lake Erie. I'm just wondering, can you comment about what you feel about the future of the Clean Water Act, of what's going to be happening under the Trump administration?
So I've actually written an op-ed on this. I'm very concerned about the reduction or loss of funds with regard to the initiative that has done so much to help us clean the lake. It's very important, not just for the work that we've done, but for our ongoing work. I signed the agreement with Michigan and Ontario to reduce the phosphorus levels by 40% in Lake Erie, and so those resources are very important to us. I respect and appreciate the need to make government more efficient and to cut waste and excess spending in government, and I support the Trump administration and the folks in Washington that are trying to do that. But what I'd like to see is them look at initiatives that are working and maintain funding for those initiatives, and look at areas that aren't working and really do that kind of analysis. Don't just, I'm very cautious about making statements about just get rid of this or get rid of that, or that's we're going to get rid of all initiatives. There are some that are working well. and this one is. And I really hope that they make a decision to maintain the level of funding that we think is necessary to continue to protect Lake Erie.
I imagine you're hopeful about the future and all the amazing, resources we have here in the Great Lakes. Just some things you'd like to say about things you're looking forward to with the future of the Great Lakes region.
So I'm really looking forward to getting on the boat
Me too.
and getting out on Lake Erie where it's sunny and the lake is flat and I can enjoy just, all the fun of being a tourist on Lake Erie. I actually like to fish, so I'm looking forward to fishing. It should be a record year. The hatches in the prior years have been fantastic, so I'm looking forward to some great walleye and perch fishing. Not only the fishing part of it, which I do love, but the eating part of it. And then it's a great region, and I think that we need to do more to strengthen the region and take advantage of all of our economic opportunities.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Mayor Taylor.
Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor from Ohio. Stay tuned for more on GreatLakesNow.org.